What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another deck profile here on the channel. And today I'm going to be talking about the Shoto 2 Todoroki list that I took to the MHACCG event. If you like this list and you want to get some of the cards, make sure you go out to unfunstuff.com, use code TamCard at checkout to get everything that you could possibly need for universes. So with that, let's just jump into it. Todoroki 2, I love this character. I took this character to my first big regional, and it was fun. It was an absolute blast to play this guy out there, but I play that on fire, and today I'm playing him on water. I wanted to play the cannon blast and give it +2/+2 and stun 2 and just swing these big huge haymakers. Honestly, I think that the fire decks are like more explosive and more powerful than the water decks is, but I just wanted to see what cannon could do to kind of change the tide in our favor. So Todoroki 2, his elevator pitch is basically he gives the best, craziest pokes in the entire world. They get stun 1, they get stun 2, excuse me, they get an extra 2/2, and then every time that you do successfully poke, you can once per turn lift a momentum back to your hand, but you do give your opponent back that momentum. So you have to keep them off of momentum and give yourself bonus momentum. So there's the elevator pitch, and so all of our deck is all about utilizing this bonus to the resources and try and outvalue our opponent. And the way that we start doing that is by having some guaranteed momentum attacks, and the first one we're playing is triple tape swing. There was one game today that I played tape swing actually 4 times versus a 7 hand size character, and it was a 6 mid for 8, and then it went to my momentum, and then I picked it back up, and then I played it for a 6 mid for 8, and then it went to my momentum, and I picked it back up, 6 mid for 8, and this puts them on a big clock. I never take this off of the mid zone. It's either discard 2 momentum or discard 0 momentum because of face shield existing in the game, and so this card is just like, it's just an 8 damage throw that I get to play every single turn and a beautiful high block. In the same time, we're playing double grasping tape toss, excuse me. This is here exclusively for the deadlock threat and the fact that it is a ranged throw, so once again it's a 4 mid for 7, and I'll pick it back up. The block modifier is terrible, to the point where I almost wanted to take it out of my deck, and probably could have been like another tape swing or a 4th copy of frog lashing. But this card was good, felt good whenever it was early in the game, but felt really bad late in the game, unless they were in deadlock, right? And so double grasping tape toss was pretty acceptable. The best leadoff attack in the game, and I probably should have played 4 of it, was Giant Ice Wall. This thing getting being a 5 low for 7 with stun 4 is not fair. It's not a fair thing to do, as well as giving my next move +2 to, excuse me, giving my next move stun 2 is incredible. This one card representing 6 committed foundations due to Todoroki and then itself is nuts. Take half of your board and jam it sideways, and that's if you didn't attack me last time. If you did attack me last turn, then I take the rest of your stage and put it. 4th kind only commits 4 cards. This card commits 6 cards. Insane. Actually an insane interaction. The next card is triple Frigid Heatwave. This card is just a win more card. It kind of feels like mandatory to play, but there was one turn that I actually got to see it where I did get to draw the 2 cards off of it, and it felt like just like a bad 5 diff. Probably could be cut down to a 2 of, but that just means that you're gonna see it less, and that does feel bad. Never play this card at a 4 of. Never, ever, ever. Seeing this card on turn 2 sucks. The only time this card's ever viable on turn 2 is if you have checked Abysmal, which means that like you didn't play out Foundations, which means playing this is risky, so on and so forth. We'll say giving this thing 2/2 and stun 2 feels very good as a 7 high for 6 that has additional stun and then possibly additional stats based on discarding the top 3 cards. So like it feels good doing the job as the poke, but like we want to draw those 2 cards. We really, really want to draw those 2 cards. Onto the big kill conditions of the deck. We've got Tongue Whips also at a 3 of. A lot of people want to play this card at a 4 of, but because of the Frigid Heat Waves being in here, I like to keep my block zones as even as possible, especially for these deck profiles, so that whenever you pick them up, you don't feel a deficit when it comes to playing defense. And so we're playing triple Tongue Whip. This card feels good. I saw 2 of them in one of my game on like turn 2, and I murdered somebody. So like if you see these cards in pairs, they feel absolutely amazing. Same thing with Frog Lashing, a beautiful, amazing poke. Giving this thing an extra 2 speed feels really great. It feels good as Asui, so imagine giving it an extra 2 damage and stun 2. Lets you re-ready your board. It felt super good. It probably should have been a 4 of. This card's just not fair, and so you should be playing more of it for sure. And then the last aggro card that we're playing is triple Cannon Blast. It's the reason I wanted to play the deck. Being able to give this thing 2 extra speed, 2 extra damage, and stun 2 is just like nuts. If they decide to kind of all in on you and they miss, this card just swings for their entire life total. Not to mention, there was one game that I had all 3 in my hand, and I went, oh, well, you just I have 14 foundations. You're dead. And then my last card is just a bit of a disruption card. I'm playing Double Ice Storm. I'm only playing 2 here, and a lot of people want to play 4 of this card in their deck. I've opted to play 2, and I've opted to make some other changes when it comes to my defense and disruption, because I was trying to play an aggressive water deck. I think one of the big things that pigeonhole a lot of water players right now is they're so focused on defense and keeping their hand size, keeping their vitality high, that they don't actually play like an engaging game, and they will get punished whenever they don't draw any sort of aggro. Their stage doesn't do any sort of aggressive game plan, and so only playing 2, easily could side the other 2 if we're running them. So onto the aggro foundations. First off, we're playing Making a Stand. This is an aggro and a flow card because it's one of the cards that you want to see on turn 2, because on turn 2, turn 3 is when you're the weakest to let attacks swing through, so that we don't want to give them back the attacks that did damage. And so Making a Stand's ability to flip and then get rid of one makes it a good flow card, but giving anything that you give stun the +1 damage feels amazing. And so you can spread these out across the turn. It's just a little bit more of a poke, a little bit more of an incentive for them to block, so that your big cannon's coming at the end and feels great. Same thing with first villain counter. Once again, it is not just an aggro card, it's also a flow card. Commit, your next one gets +1/+1, and then this one gets +1/+1, and the next one gets a little easier to play. Very easy to chain out cannons whenever we just go ahead and prepay for them. Up next, we're playing Double Creepy Realization. This card floats to my hand. Yeah, I was only playing 2 in the tournament today, and there were so many times that I would just see both on board. Absolutely amazing. I played this versus 4th Kind, and I found 2 of them out, and every time that he played his last move, I just committed both and went, that's not a move anymore. Sorry about it. This card is exceptionally good, especially if we have any card pull stuffing on defense. And this card also says that whenever I do find those double tongue whips, that this card actually, it actually gets in for the kill. This is still technically an offensive card, although the reason I put it in here was supposed to be for some disruption. This is after a card leaves a discard pile due to my character's due to my rival's non-character ability. They add the top card of the discard pile into their top card of the deck into their card pool. Wow, I would say all the words wrong. Basically, if you do something with your discard pile, I'm gonna break or 1 you for the rest of the turn. It is amazing. It feels really good in this current format. I got to do it 1 time versus a meteor shower. It didn't matter in that turn, but if it happened the turn previously, my opponent was really in a bad position. It also is just like randomly +2 or -2 damage. I'm giving any move I want stun, and then there's lots of relevant stun moves. And so being able to a playable while committed -2 damage on a stun move means that you don't have to block, which means they have to keep pressing a little harder, overcommit themselves. Now my stun 2 is even more relevant. Kind of the same vein as that, we've got 3 Ice Gliding, commit for -2 speed or +1 speed, and then if blocked, + or -1, my choice. Card feels great, beautiful spam. It came in a lot of just commit for -2, so maybe we could cut it down to like a 2 of, because we do have other -speed defensive options, but I mean, the card felt great. Such as double rescue completed. I probably want to kick this up to a 3 of, but this card, I want to kick it up to a 3 of, but we're playing 2 checks, and so that feels very risky. Committed Foundation for +1 or -2 speed. It's the exact same rate as Ice Gliding, but it's any foundation, not this one. The only thing is this one gets the bonus if blocked, and this one gets the ready 2 face downs, which is really important whenever I'm playing something like Cannon that wants to commit 3 resources in order to spam out a lot of damage. So felt good. Up next, we're playing Triple Tape. We've got some of the best mid blocks in the game. We're playing Frog Lashing as well as Ice Storm, so being able to flip and make something mid, breaker to them, and take no damage is very, very good. We have to make sure that we are very safe on all of our block zones so that we can not give them momentum, because if they hit us, they get to get that momentum back as well. So that is important. Next defensive piece, we're playing Triple Survive in the Final. It's a 0/5 that gives -1 speed. There's not much more to say about it. It's just beautiful spam. That's the thing about the water symbol versus the fire symbol. The fire symbol is way more explosive. The fire symbol is very bad on spam. It's very bad on low difficulty foundations. And so the fact that the water symbol has so much really good active spam just feels amazing. Double Gotcha. This card was Stun Hate. It's a 2/5 with a 2 low block, kind of the opposite of Survive in the Final. Card feels good. Probably didn't need it here today, but it feels okay. The big thing about Gotcha is with Cannon Blast, it says commit a foundation, do a thing, and so we commit a foundation, get a bonus speed. So we can take and just use the top ability of Cannon Blast, right? So it's a 4 high for 5. We give it stun 2, we give it 2/2. I just used the commit 1 on this, and I gave it 1 speed and then 1 speed from the ability, 2 damage. So with Todoroki and Gotcha, it's stun 2 and then +4/+4. So it's an 8 high for 9. Yeah, that sounds great. I'll just commit 1 resource. Beautiful. Absolutely amazing. Next defensive piece, we've got double wall cling. This is where I said I made some changes. Normally this card's played like a 3, maybe a 4 of in a lot of water decks. I'm playing it at 2 of, and I don't sideboard. So if you had like an all throw heavy deck, I was probably gonna get mollywopped today. And it did happen. I played against 2 decks that were main boarding Electric Jolt, and I was certainly missing these cards. Same thing with a single Faith Shield. Probably should have had 1 more in here, maybe 2, 3 more in the side or whatever. But this card's just like super good versus some matchups. But I just didn't want to sit there and just like block and hold and wait and play defense and pray. I wanted to just have a more proactive game plan, and so I made my deck to tailor it. And then the last big defensive card is just struggling with studies. I could have an hour-long lecture on why this card is so good. After my opponent is being super aggressive by playing a lot of attacks in their card pool as they're stringing out, I flip and I lift a defensive piece up into my hand. Absolutely beautiful. It also is just another enhanced flip to let my frog lashings be a little more live. And that is the big issue with the water symbol in comparison to the life symbol. The life symbol has a lot of flipping, a lot of things that flip other things. I'm looking at you, tight-lipped, where the water symbol doesn't. So in order to get these absolutely massive frog lashings, you have to make sure that you're doing your job. Onto the flow cards, we've got double frozen. This card says destroy one of my lame committed foundations, and they commit a foundation. So it's just additional stuns on the turn that I want to go in, and it's the main thing to keep me out of deadlock. I am a deadlock gamer. I want to play with as many foundations as possible, and so I will toss as many cards into the card pool as possible. So, sorry, not my card pool, my stage. I'll toss as many cards in my stage as possible, and so sometimes I do need to get back out of deadlock, and the stun 2 isn't going to be enough. So frozen is what's going to be there to help me. Double observant student. I don't really have a way to clear the card out of my card pool, except for on defense. We're playing the Faith Shield. But this card is just flip, look at the top card of my deck. Hey, I'm trying to string a bunch of 5 difficulty moves. Am I going to pass the next one? There was twice today where I was going for my opening string. I flipped look, I saw a 3 check, and went, I'll build 2 pass. I'll get them next time. There's plenty of time for me to keep playing the game. I'm not going to die this turn. Let me just play it safe, not overextend, and be punished for it. And then on, lastly, to the disruption, we're playing double sticky balls. Flip! Stuff that card. Flip. Quit attacking me. This card feels amazing. Also versus fourth kind, enhanced commit for -4 speed on their last move. Says that, yeah, you got +4 damage, but it's now the slowest move of all time. I'll just full block it and feel totally fine about it. Card is insane. If I wasn't running the 2 check, I probably would just be playing 4 of this card. This card is still one of the strongest cards in the entire game, and you should definitely be playing it if you're not. Next card, we've got double irrefutable force of nature. Speaking of card that I should have been playing more of, enhance commit seal, one of those pesky cards. This card feels amazing at shutting off not just offensive tools, things like latent skill, things like defrosting or a couple targets that I hit today, but also the defensive tools, be able to commit and say, hey, your wall clean doesn't work. All right, my tape swing is now going to actually be active. Feels very good. It just feels super, super good. Hey, do you have an anti-stun piece? All right, well, I'll commit mine to say that your it can't be fixed doesn't work, and now I'll stun you. Oh, you don't get to rebuild? Nice. Yeah, card feels amazing. And the last card we're playing is triple Desperate Times. Once again, more spam and trying to commit my opponent's board on their turn whenever they draw cards so that I can commit them even more on my turn. Card feels great. Super, super good. It wasn't hyper relevant today, but I'm sure in other matchups it would have been. I fought off against fourth kind who loved to draw cards, which it was relevant. Then I fought off against Asui, and then I fought off against Todoroki versus the Fire Todoroki 2. I just couldn't see him on my board. But all in all, the deck is incredibly fun. I would rate it like 7 out of 10. I had a blast. Truth be told, it probably should have been an Asui deck, but I just like Todoroki too. I've got this cool, awesome regional one, and so I wanted to play it. But you can take this exact list and play it on top of an Asui 1-dot deck and have an absolute blast and probably go win a tournament. This character's incredibly fun, and I've played him now on all 3 of his symbols, not competitively. I'm still waiting on the order symbol, but it's a blast to play. So yeah, if you like this and you want to get the deck, reminder, unfunstuff.com. Use code TamCard for 5% off the entire order. As well as make sure that you go check out Unfun Fridays. Go and play in those online webcam events. With that said, you guys, thank you much for watching the video. I greatly appreciate the support as always, and I wish you well.